Hey everybody, this is Alchemisted, and this is Ace Combat 6 Fires of Liberation. I'm putting a part 0 on here. I've been doing that a lot, haven't I? Yeah. I did it for Colony Wars, and I did it for Mega Man Legends 2. And I think I didn't do it for Parasite Eve 2. No. I've been doing this quite a bit lately, haven't I? Anyways, this is because oh, fuck it. I messed up while I was talking about the game. I made a few errors. And this is to properly introduce the game, because I fucked up so much when I was recording. Leave it to me to do actual research on something after I record. I was more or less just going off the top of my head because I've played this game like umpteen million times, although you wouldn't know it from the way I fly. Seriously, I haven't played this game in forever, and my flying skills are now terrible again. Anyways, this is Ace Combat 6 Fires of Liberation. It was developed by the studio Project Aces, which is part of Namco, and published by Namco Bandai. Now, when I'm playing the game, I'm going to say that it takes place in Strange Rail, which it does. But I'm going to say also that the whole Strange Rail storyline in the Ace Combat series began in Ace Combat 2, and it does not. It does not. All of the Ace Combat games, except for Joint Strike, which takes place in the real world, take place in this fictional version of the world called Strange Rail, which has all of the mostly recognizable land masses, but they're sort of jumbled up, and there's really just sort of fantasy counterparts for every culture, such as there's the Osea. Is that what they're called? Osea, which I think is supposed to be the U.S. In fact, I'm fairly certain they're supposed to be the U.S., and I'm not really sure. Ameria sounds like America, but I don't think it's the U.S. I think it's, Ameria, who you play as a pilot for. I think it's basically supposed to represent, any Western, democratic sort of country. And it does have similarities to America, but so do the Yuktobanians who from Ace Combat 5. So, I'm not really sure what's going on. We have like two Americas in this weird sort of alternate world, Osea and Ameria, and we have two sort of versions of Russia, Slovakia, and Yuktobania. So, I'm not really sure what's going on there. And if you have no idea what I'm talking about, that's understandable. But Yuktobania is a country that was fighting the Republic of Osea in, was it the Republic of Osea? I forgot their full name now. In Ace Combat 5, and it's sort of this sort of, they were being manipulated to do so by a third party. And in case you ever play Ace Combat 5, that's the last I will say about it, because I don't want to ruin what is a very good storyline. This is actually, I actually toyed with the idea. The reason I haven't uploaded this so long is I've actually been toying with the idea of doing another playthrough of the series. Last year I did a playthrough of the Halo series, well, most of it. Halo, Halo 2, and Halo 3, and I did ODST earlier this year. And I guess I'm cursed to do Reach whenever it comes out. I did play a little bit of the Reach multiplayer beta, and I'll talk about that later. A little bit. Not very much. Not much at all. Most of my time was spent in Halo 3 during their free weekend. And I did record it. So, but that's like 7 hours of footage that I have to sift through and pick highlights from. And, that's a lot of time I have to spend on that stuff. So, you might not see it very quickly, but I did record like 7 hours of gameplay. Most of it was just boring matches, though. So again, I'm having to pick through and like get the highlights and where shit actually happened. Anyways, back to what I was talking about. What was I talking about? Strange Rail. I was going to talk about Strange Rail. But before I talked about Strange Rail, I really toyed with the idea of just doing a playthrough of the Ace Combat series. in chronological order. Not the order in which the games were released, but the proper chronological order that the games take place in. And that order is Ace Combat, Ace Combat 0, Ace Combat 2, Ace Combat 4, Ace Combat 5, Operational Katina, which is this sort of mini-game that you can unlock that features the main character from 4, Ace Combat 5, The Unsung War, Ace Combat 6, Fires of Liberation, Ace Combat X, which is a PSP game, Ace Combat Advance, which is a fucking abomination, and Ace Combat 3. And I really had my heart set on doing a straight playthrough of this series in chronological order, because it is a fun series, and right now all I have is Ace Combat 5 and 6, but getting the other ones wouldn't be too hard. You know, just go to used game stores and pick them up. That wouldn't have been hard at all. Like Ace Combat 0, Ace Combat 4 cost like $8 at a GameStop. So that wouldn't have been too difficult. Finding them in their actual boxes with covers that are intact, that would have been the difficult part, because GameStop doesn't take care of their games for shit. But anyways, it would have been hard, except for 2 games. Ace Combat X, which would require me to buy Ace Combat X, and the PSP, which would cost like $100, yeah, over like $200. You can tell this is being recorded very early. I just woke up, actually. And Ace Combat 3 is another major concern, because the North American version of Ace Combat 3 is not only not canon with the series, it is terrible. Ace Combat 3, the original Japanese version of Ace Combat 3, has over 50 missions and a very deep sort of branching storyline, with anime cutscenes and full voice acting in the works. It's the first real game where the Ace Combat series had where like what Ace Combat 4 and 5 would become started in Ace Combat 3. Okay, it was the first sort of deeper Ace Combat game. Yeah. And the North American version though was terrible. They lost over half the missions in the game. Half the content is gone. They just took it out for no reason. The voice acting, well, I haven't heard the voice acting, but I've heard that it's bad. What else? And the story is completely different. The story has been completely changed, and the ending is one of the most useless, depressing, kick the player in the balls endings ever. It renders all of your actions throughout this game meaningless, pretty much. And it's just it is an abominable, terrible, awful translation of a game. And it's infamously so among Ace Combat fans. So if you're going to play Ace Combat 3, you have to import it, because the North American version is terrible. Which is a problem for me, because I can't understand Japanese. There is a fan project to translate Ace Combat 3, and I'll put a link to it in the description, because it's quite good. If you like look down the translation, follow the storyline, it is quite good. And but they haven't translated the whole game yet, so I would still be shit out of luck even if I could get my hands on Ace Combat 3. So those are were the biggest problems, and those were the reasons I decided not to do it. At least not to do it yet. If they ever finish the translation for Ace Combat 3, and if I ever get a PSP, which I probably will have to because they're releasing the next Parasite Eve. I'm still calling it Parasite Eve, motherfuckers. It has Aya Brea. It's called the third birthday, but I'm still calling it Parasite Eve, even if it has nothing to do with Parasite Eve anymore, except for the title character. Not the title, but the main character. They're releasing that on PSP, so I'll probably eventually have to get a PSP. So I can play it, and perhaps play through it, and perhaps bitch about the direction they took the game in, while still enjoying it. I'm weird like that. But, and I'm running out of time because I'm rambling on and on so much. Damn it. But yeah, those are the reasons why I decided not to do a straight playthrough of the series right now. But there is the chronological order. If you wish to do so and you have a PSP, you can play the games in that order, and that's the proper order for the storyline, except for Advance. Skip Advance because it's terrible. I would still have to play through Advance because I would be playing through the entire series, but you don't have to suffer through that because you don't have to stand for it. Okay. Last minute things. I call the F-22 Raptor. I use the Mobius Raptor. It is not the Mobius Raptor from Ace Combat 4. It is the Griffiths Raptor from Ace Combat X. What else? Okay, I think that's it. Enjoy Ace Combat 6 and enjoy me almost getting killed by a cutscene. Later, everybody.